Coffee time again, exposing the truth. Welcome to Coffee Time Again, exposing the truth. Dale at the microphone, the show that demonstrates how history repeats itself. He digs into the past, shows what happens, and how it is happening now. Follow the path of history to where it goes, then relate it to today to reveal the connections. The culture that forgets its history has no future. A history buff and loves to talk about it, going back as far as ancient Greeks and Egyptians and beyond. So grab your coffee, your chair, and listen to the show. Hope you enjoy.
Good morning. I guess it's afternoon by now, and in some places it's early morning. In the, I suppose the Philippines is where you're
Yes,
at.
I am in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Uh,
Anyway, I'm in Denver, Colorado, so it's late morning. It's almost lunchtime. So welcome to the show, people. My name is Dale. I am your host. This is Coffee Time Again, exposing the truth. And today we're going to expose the truth about credit card debt and it's how facetious it really is and how bad it really is. And his name is Tommy. He's going to let us know what's going on there. So welcome to the show, everyone. Grab your cup of coffee, your water, whatever you drink. I'm drinking Pepsi as usual. So let's hit it. Tell us about yourself, Tommy.
oh, thank you very much for having me. I'm a retired teacher and an author, and I had written a book on health and healing, and I was given a infomercial contract back in 2004, and I was test marketed on the radio to find out what's the best way to approach the subject matter. And I had to live on my credit cards for about 6 months, and I had three of them. And I racked up $85,000, but I was promised about $100,000 a month from our sales that we were going to be doing. So I didn't think anything of it. However, one of the talents, he got in trouble with the FTC by making claims in his book that weren't true. And so they came down hard on the company, on him, and my contract was canceled. And I was left with $85,000 of credit card debt.
That's incredible amount of money.
That's a lot of money. I had no income and I had left everything behind just to do this. I thought I was going to be a millionaire. So
Yeah, so
I was
why
well
not?
on my way.
Well,
Yeah. So I didn't man. So put me in a little depression, of course. And one morning I woke up thinking about my dad. He's a CPA, and I was studying to be a certified public accountant. And I realized the bank does not have an invoice. And I went, wait a second, I don't have a debt. And then I have a memory. In our class of accounting in the banking section, we had to read the book Modern Money Mechanics put out by the Federal Reserve. And in that book, it says what banks do is they accept your promissory note and they write numbers in your free checking account. And I never signed a promissory note. My father at the time was a judge and an attorney. And so we had long discussions about how fraud undoes all contracts. So when you use the card, you agree to their terms and conditions. Well, fraud undoes all that. So I had no contractual agreement with the bank. So with his help and my craziness, I filed three federal lawsuits in Los Angeles court, and things were going along pretty well. We were headed towards a deposition. The bank was going to have to send one of their employees to my office and answer all my questions. Then all of a sudden, I was called into court. And my father-in-law said, that's very unusual. Judges don't usually call you into the court, not the banks, just me. They said, Mr. Kilpatrick, do you have a credit card? And I said, well, let me start at the beginning. Oh, we'll start at the beginning later. And do you have a credit card? Well, no, it started off as a gift card. A gift card, pull your card out. So I pull my card out. He said, read what it says right there. Credit card. You're an idiot. Get out of here. So my three cases were dismissed by the judge. And so back to the depression, back to how am I going to pay this and stuff. And then about a month later, I looked at my credit report and all three banks were off my credit report. And so I do not have a get out of debt scheme. This is not getting out of debt. I have realized the banks have committed a bank fraud worldwide. And so I'm your victim rights advocate. I'm trying to educate you and your audience that they do not have credit card debt and they don't have an obligation to the bank to pay it. And there is a way of not getting out of debt, but there is a way of stop being a victim. And I'm your victim rights advocate.
Does that apply also to debit cards or just credit cards?
This only applies to bank issued alleged credit card And so right away, right from the beginning, I want to say I'm a doubting Thomas. So I invite you to be doubting me and your audience. And I have sent you some show notes, some links. So look up the links yourself to see what I'm saying is correct. And send this podcast to your certified public accountant or anyone who's had one class of accounting, and they'll tell you I'm correct. I'm not arguing some crazy sovereignty bills of exchange or something strange like that. This is just basically business and accounting principles. So what it comes down to is law is language and language is law. So if you say you've got credit card debt, you've got it. There's nothing I can do for you. We're watching TV and we see a bank robbery in progress. They always say alleged bank robber. So all I want you and your audience to do is add one word, is allege. So now we have an allege, because now it puts a burden of proof upon the bank to say that they actually have a debt, which I say they don't.
Okay. And you have a way of showing us how to use your method without having to
Yes.
done a lot of.
Right. It's very simple by sending a letter to the bank. So what happens, there is true credit cards. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Let's say you need tires and you go to a tire store and you say, I just don't have money. And they say, hey, Dale, why don't you fill out the in-store credit card application and see if you are approved? Oh, hey, you're approved. They put the tires on your car and you drive away. You didn't pay for those tires. Okay. And at the end of the month, you get a statement, which is true. And they have an outstanding unpaid invoice, which is true. You owe that. Okay. This is not a get out of debt scheme. It's not that at all. It's not immoral. It's not illegal, what I'm suggesting. That is a true credit card. Now the question is that a credit card a true credit card, or is it a bank issued? And what you do, look on the back of Amazon, Walmart, or any department store that you have a credit card with, look on the back of the card. If that card on the back says issued by Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, then that is a fraudulent credit card. And that is what I'm talking about, is bank issued alleged credit cards.
Okay, so it has to be very specific here. It has to say issued by a real bank.
Right. And even if you have an American Express, there's no bank. Just look up American Express. They're a bank.
Yeah,
so
they are.
It's pretty much it. So there is not $1.3 trillion of credit card debt. It's only what the bank wants you to deposit. And we'll kind of get into that.
Okay.
So you asked, how do you get out of this? Well, first of all, you have to have your credit report that's going to show that there is a bank issued alleged credit card and they made derogatory items on your report. It doesn't matter as long as it's there. That's the evidence. So then what I have you do is file police reports. Now, you're not going to call up the local sheriff or something like that to come on out and file a police report. It's the police of the banks. So there are about 5 state and federal agencies that regulate and oversee this and do take in complaints. So what you do is you complain about their fraud. And now the question is, what fraud are you talking about? Okay. Now, what banks do is they advertise. We know that. And they spend money to do that. That's called an advertising budget. So that's not unusual at all. Now, in the olden days, they would purchase toasters and wall clocks and have them in the bank. So when you or your mom went in back in the 50s and 60s, you maybe remember this. They said, hey, I'll open an account today and you get a toaster, you get a wall clock. And then one time in the newspaper I saw, they had an ad that said, come into our bank and deposit $25 and we will match it in 90 days. Oh, what did I do? I took my $25, put it into my savings account, waited 91 days, went to the bank, closed the account, but I took out my 25 and the bank's 25. You know, think about it that way. I took my $25 and I took the bank's. Now, let me ask you a question, Dale. Did I rip off the bank? Did I steal $25 from the bank?
The advertiser is going to give you $25.
That was a deal. So was that immoral, what I did?
Not in my opinion, no.
In my opinion, too. So there in the show notes, in the link number 4, it says in there's a guy on YouTube that says do that. He's made $316 so far. So he's a thriller. He's up 300. It's the same thing as when the bank sent you a $500 credit card from Capital One. It was a gift card. So that's my whole argument, is that you applied, which is an application, and they approved you. They gave you that, and that's the important word. They gave you a card. So actually a gift card came in the mail. So if you use the criminal's language of I got a credit card, I have credit card debt, you're sunk. There's no argument. You have to pay it. But if you start with the truth that I applied, sure, and they approved me, fine, and they sent me a $500 gift card. So yeah, what would you do for the $500 gift card? If I sent you a $500 gift card, what would be one item you'd want to pay for $500 right now? What would be something you'd want to buy?
Several things that go along with my computer. I want some more better sound equipment. I want better sound board. I want better lighting.
Perfect. So you go to a store and you buy this perfect recording equipment you need, and you walk out the door and they stop you and they say, "Did you pay for that?" And you show them a receipt. Now, here's a question. Are you going to get a statement at the end of the month from that store about an unpaid outstanding invoice? No. Who owns that equipment? You do. But Dale, you didn't pay that store $500.
Oh.
So who paid the store that night or the next day?
The gift card.
The bank. The bank, let's say Bank of America, sent this to you. Sometimes they didn't send to you without an application. You're pre-approved. You remember those. So they would send these cards out to anybody and everybody and to get them as a customer. Now, so why is this whole thing about a customer? Because once the bank has you a customer, look it up yourself. I typed it up about 2 months ago. I said, what does the average person pay in credit card fees? And it's $23.04. So if a bank like Bank of America has 1 million cardholders, they're bringing in $23 million a month. And I did the calculation. It's about 1/4 of their profit. So this is very profitable, charging you $23 for a free checking account. That's what my argument is. Okay. So you don't get a statement from that store. So the bank could not issue you a credit card. We have to start with that first argument. They're going to say, oh, you have a debt. You owe us because you purchased something. No, the bank did not sell you tires. They didn't come out and do a plumbing job on your house. They are a bank. What banks do is they issue loans. Think about it this way here. Let's say about 100 years ago, you went into the general store and you said, hey, Charlie, I need 5 pounds of flour, a pound of sugar, and my crops are coming in a couple of weeks. I'll pay you then. Oh, yeah, Dale, I got you right down here. And he's got a running tab, but he's got an invoice. So you owe that. You don't say to Charlie, hey, Charlie, can I borrow $10,000? No, what am I, a bank? You go see the bank. So when you apply for a loan, because now the argument is a credit card is a loan. Okay, let's go that direction. So let's say you apply for a loan, Dale, and the bank turns you down. Do you still get the loan? No. If you're turned down, you don't get the loan. But if they approve you, then you go and you fill out loan documents. So you have to remember, application is the word that means that you are requesting, you are asking. And then the bank says, sure, you qualify. Then you come in, you fill out loan documents. You remember doing that.
Yeah.
All those pages, all those signatures, all those initials here. Yeah. So first thing you have to prove is income. So how are you going to pay this loan back if you don't have an income? Now think about this. The bank is brought into court and the judge saying, you're loaning money to people who don't even have an income? That's predatory. So the banks cannot be seen as predatory, even though they are. So they make you prove that you actually have an income, because how are you going to pay this loan back? You also have to have collateral, like the house or the car, or if you go for a personal loan, you put up your yacht for the collateral. They have a legal way of taking away property from you and selling it. And if they come up short, well, that's their problem. If they come up long, they don't get to keep the extra money. They have to send that back to you. You also have to have a credit report, and a credit score determines your interest rate. But the last thing you do is you sign a promissory note. It says, I promise to pay the bank this much money every month or whatever they want to do, right? So that is not in an application. An application is not a promissory note. So what you did is you have to sign that promissory note. And that's what the bank does, is they have to have you promise to pay them, and then they can write numbers into their checking account. And that's in your show notes in link number 2. So that link number 2 is from the book Modern Money Mechanics. And it's exactly says what the Federal Reserve says the banks do, is they accept your promissory note and they write numbers into your free checking account. You don't pay for it, so it's a free checking account. So that's what happened. So you get this purchase, you know the story, you purchase, and then at the end of the month you get a statement, which okay, and it's from your Bank of America on your credit card. See, if you say credit card bank statement, you're sunk. It's your bank issued alleged credit card bank statement. So is that a bill? Think about it, Dale. You have a normal checking account. You've had this account for 40, 50 years, right? And you get a statement at the end of the month. It used to come in the mail, but now it comes by email. Okay, but is that a bill from your normal checking account?
No,
That's not a bill.
no, it's
It
not.
starts your beginning balance, your deposits, the checks you've written, the debit card you used, and now there's fees maybe, and at the end you have your ending balance. That's not a bill.
No.
But Dale, you think it's a bill. You've been lied to, indoctrinated, and brainwashed. Now, I don't want to insult your audience and stuff like that, but if you don't question anything, then you're brainwashed. So all I ask you and your audience to do is to question this. So we've been lied to generationally, meaning that your parents told you, Dale, this is a credit card. You got to pay it. If you don't, they're going to sue you. So everybody knows that. It's the mantra. Everybody knows what that is. All the judges are brainwashed. All the attorneys are brainwashed, the whole system. So I'm talking about something very revolutionary. Mm-hmm. So what you did is you wrote a check out to Bank of America from your, let's say, Bank of Florida or whatever you're at. So that's the first time the bank has ever received your money. And that is a loan. This is in your show notes in the very first link. And there's a legal website that explains to you right there that you do not make deposits. What you're doing is you are loaning the bank money. So when you go into a bank with no money, you hope to come out with money. That's with a loan. When you take money into a bank and leave it there, that's actually a loan. Okay. So you have loaned the bank $500, and that is in your checking account. And so your gift card turns into a debit card. So my argument is every purchase since then has been with your own money. Every month you get a statement. It's not a bill, but you think it is. That's the fraud. You write a check out, you mail it in, and things are going great. You don't have an annual fee. You don't have any interest. You don't have, and your life could be perfect. But what happens if you don't decide to put money into your free checking account? Now they charge you interest, late fees, overdraft fees. They charge you for cash withdrawal fee, which is your own money. So that's my whole argument, is that you have been spending your own money every single purchase. So you don't have a credit card. In the beginning, it came as a gift card, and then it turned into a debit card the minute you sent that bank money.
Wow. That's all. It's a little, for me, it's a little confusing, but
that's perfect. No, you're
that's
confused,
what they want.
So is your audience. So
that's
what they want. So go ahead and ask a question. Let's clarify some of your confusion.
Yeah. So if you go and you sign a promissory note, and they give you a credit card, then you're not borrowing any money, correct?
Well, if you go to the bank and do a loan, then you sign a promissory note. You promise to pay it back. That's a loan.
Okay.
But this is not a loan. You never signed a promissory note. You don't have to pay them back because there isn't anything to pay them back. It's your own money was deposited into your own checking account. It's a little confusing. It's okay. Take your time. Ask another question. I'm fine.
It just is a little bit because where did the debit card come in?
Right. See, that's a very good question. So we know what a debit card is it just takes money out of your checking account. It's the same thing. So the bank tries to get you to be a customer. They send you a gift, like they sent you a wall clock or a toaster in the olden days. So here they send you a $500. Well, why would the bank send you a $500 credit card? It costs them money from their advertising budget. So if they make $23.04 on average, it only takes them 22 or 23 months of you being a regular customer, they're going to make that $500 back. Okay. So that's where the money comes back. Then after that, for the next 40 years, you are paying interest rates. I have seen up to 79.9% personally. So
Yeah.
I have seen crazy things the banks do, and all the fees and all the charges you're paying. This is all on a free checking account. That's the fraud. So that's why I have you had your credit report first that shows the evidence of a crime, filing the complaints with the proper authorities, that you've done your due diligence, you've done your patriotic part, you've done what you should do when you're a victim, is to notify the authorities that you're a victim of crime. Now we send that letter to the bank asking to close your free checking account and to remove the derogatory items off your credit report. And so you say, is that true? Well, it happened to me. I sued the three banks. I was going to have a deposition. They don't want this to be known. They don't want the crime exposed. So they told the judge, get rid of me. And so what happened? I had no case after that because I couldn't prove they had a crime because it was on my credit report. It was
Yeah.
gone. Then you say, oh, then you're blackballed. Well, about 13 years ago, the wife said, get out, take the dog with you. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. I became homeless and I was on a vow of poverty for about 10 years. So I had no credit report, no credit score, because I was off grid basically for 10 years. And so I decided to come to the Philippines. So I needed to buy a airline ticket. And you do that with a credit card. I needed to rent a car to get to the airport with a credit card. So I applied to Capital One for a $500 credit card. And they gave me, that's the important word, they gave me a $500 credit card. And so how can that happen if you don't have a score, if you don't have a history? I was a previous customer. Okay. But that's one of the banks I sued for $35,000 of what they said I owed. So you will get a credit card immediately after you send this letter because they want you as a customer. They know they're going to get $23.04 on average, and it doesn't matter to them because it's not, they don't have a risk. There is no loan. They're not risking anybody any money of their money, not at all.
That I understand all too well.
Okay.
Oh my
So
Lord.
it became a gift card when it arrived in the mail. Sometimes it wasn't even solicited. It just came in the mail. You're pre-approved. You use the card, and now you're saying, well, I have to follow the terms and conditions. That's true, except for fraud undoes all contracts. So you don't have a contractual agreement with the bank. So you use the gift card. It's when you sent money to that bank, you actually loaned the bank your money, and that they didn't pay the business that bought your equipment from. No, that came from their advertising budget because they know they're going to make that back in 22 or 23 months.
Yeah.
So they can write any number they want in a free checking account. It doesn't matter to them. They can give you 10,000. There's in the show notes, the very first one, it says banks do not take depositors' money and loan it out to people. And in the second note, it says right there, mockingly, the Federal Reserve says, of course we don't take depositors' money and pass them out to loan to somebody else. There wouldn't be enough money. So the whole scam is to get you to agree to a promissory note, and then they issue you these numbers in a free checking account. But there was no loan, not in this.
No, there wasn't, because you didn't sign a promissory note.
There's no promissory note. Okay, let's go another route. Let's say Tom's crazy. Okay, let's say, Dale, you buy one share of stock of Bank of America. You're now a shareholder. Now you want the bank to be successful because you're going to get money from it, a dividend. Perfect. So it's your bank, it's your money. Now, Dale, do you want your bank, your money to be loaned to people who don't even have an income? Would you want to loan your money, your bank, your money? No, of course not. You wouldn't do that because if they don't have any money, how are they going to pay you back? Now, would you want to loan from your bank your money to someone who doesn't even have an income?
No.
No. And here's the last one. Would you want to loan from your bank? Would you want to loan your money to people who don't even promise to pay it back?
No way.
Right. So it's not sound business policy because it wasn't a loan. This was a trick. This was inducement to get you to be a customer, just like the toaster. They gave you this object to get you to be a customer because they know they're going to make $23.04 on average. One podcaster told me he pays $800 a year for an annual fee. $800 on a free checking account. It's on a free checking account. So one podcaster contacted me after we talked, and he was sued a few weeks before that by a bank for $3,300 by Citibank, and he had only a few days left before it was going to be a default judgment. See, no one fights this. So the whole system believes and tells everybody that you don't win. There's no way to win. Of course, there's no way to win because you say there's a credit card. So I had him write a letter to the judge asking for more time. And he's going to be granted that time because the judge always says that because he said, what's the reason? Oh, I want to get legal counsel. Oh, we like that. We're all part of the brotherhood. Everybody gets a check from being hiring an attorney. We're not going to hire an attorney. And then the other thing too, but then another thing is he's going to file a counter complaint. What? Who's going to file a counter complaint? Because he was sued. You can sue them back as a freebie. It doesn't cost you anything. So that is going to be notified to the bank attorney. They're going to see someone's going to push back. And for $3,300, most likely they're going to dismiss this case and he's not going to have a lawsuit. Then we got to get his credit report, send it off to the 5 agencies, send a letter to the bank. Even though it's closed, we tell them to correct that to be not derogatory, no lates, and leave it as a good account that I closed. And that's where he will never be bothered ever again.
Yeah, that makes logical sense to me. But you said one thing that's got me confused. You said
Sure.
the 5 agencies. I only aware of 3 agencies.
Well, there's a state, there's Attorney General office. So we have that. We have the comptroller of the currency, and we have one that deals with the credit and stuff like that. So there's about 5 agencies. Depends on what happens. So if we have if you're being sued by a creditor, like a debt collector, that can add more.
Oh, we can add more.
Yeah. Because they are underneath the Fair Credit Reporting Act too. So we have more actions against them. Now, from that, we really can't ask them to clean the report, the credit report. So we ask the collector to remove it off the credit report. So their collection is an error, is fraudulent. So we have them remove it. So when we send a letter to the bank, if the bank in 45 days does not remove it off your credit report, we then notify the credit reporting agency and we show them the evidence that we have. There's a crime, we have reported it, and we told the bank it's a crime, and you are reporting something that's illegal. You can't report erroneous, fraudulent items. So because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, they have to remove that off the credit report. So again, that's all we're looking for, to remove it off your credit report, and you will raise your credit score, and then you can reapply for a credit card the next day. It's crazy. The banks will not loan you. They're not going to issue a credit card. They're going to open up a free checking account for you. And if you know that what's going on, it's a gift, and it's not immoral. You told me it's not immoral to take the gift. Well, they're offering you a gift. You can take it.
Yeah. What a deal that is. They give you
There's a little bit of a time delay.
a free checking account. You go spend the money.
Right.
They can't do anything about it.
They can't. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift. Now, you can say I'm wrong. That's fine. You say I'm a crackpot. That's fine. So now you're going to have to tell me that, one, the bank has an invoice. They have an outstanding unpaid invoice. And why I keep harping on that is I have an experience that you don't have. I was in school to be a CPA. I didn't get the credential, but I can do the work. My very first job was an accountant. The CFO, which is a CPA, came over to me and pointed a finger in my face and said, if you pay from a statement, I'm going to fire you. And he asked another word by ass. I'll
Yeah.
fire your ass, but I won't put that in. But that's what he said to me. So it made an impression on my mind that has never left. So he's explained to me the owners make deals all the time. So don't trust that statement. It's an action. It's a statement. They're saying something. It doesn't make it true. You only pay from an invoice. And look over here. See the department head okays it. So we only pay from an approved, because we have to verify this product came in. And so you only pay from an invoice, not a statement. So I know that. You may not know that. Your audience may not know that. But any accountant knows that. Anybody who's in business knows that you don't pay from a statement. You only pay from an invoice, and an invoice that's valid.
Yeah, I went restaurants for years, off and on. Same deal. I didn't pay from the. I paid from what came into my back door.
Right, and you verified it because you know they'll cheat you.
Yeah. Oh,
they'll
better
drop
believe
off.
they will. Better believe they will. So that I did know. You
Yeah.
only pay from the invoice.
Yeah.
You don't pay from the statements.
See, that's the first thing. And now the loan. So you're going to tell me that the bank has a loan with you. Okay, you're telling me that you signed a promissory note. Okay, show me the promissory note. Well, it's an application. It's okay. You think an application is a promissory note? What can I do with you? Go ahead and argue it. You're fine with me.
Yeah.
Enjoy your alleged debt that you have.
Getting this all settled into my mind. That it's not a loan because you did not sign a promissory note.
No.
Probably filled out 14 pages of application.
See, and for the bank to loan you money, they have to have a promissory note, but they have to go through this procedure to prove that you actually have an income, you actually have some way to pay it, and that you have some collateral. And you have to have a credit report, and a credit score determines your interest rate. And the last thing you sign is a promise to pay it back. If you're not promising to pay it back, it can't be a loan. It has to be a gift. And again, the banks over the years had gotten people to come into the bank to open an account by giving them something like a toaster, a wall clock, or matching money. So it's out there.
Does that work the same way with creditors? Say you go on the internet, you borrow $5,000. Does that work the same way?
It's the same thing because you don't have to fill out a loan. If there's no loan documents filled out, there's no loan. So this does not work for a car loan. This does not work for your auto loan. It doesn't work for a personal loan that you have your yacht that you have put up as collateral and signed a promissory note. So there are a lot of people out there doing things. And just if you look in the information, look on the back of the card. If they don't issue a card, they have to front you something. Look there and you'll see a bank. If it's issued by a bank, and then it's a phony card. If it's truly a merchant that actually had their tires put on your car, they came out and did a service on your house, you owe the money. This is not a get out of debt scheme. I'm trying to let you know that you were a victim. And many people have heard about this Stockholm syndrome. You take on the identity of the perpetrator, the criminal, the abuser, you identify with them. So many of the people in your audience are going to identify with their creditor, with their bank, with their abuser. And they're going to tell you that, no, this is not true. And they're going to argue from the bank's point of view. All I'm saying, that's fine. Where's the invoice? No invoice, no debt. Where's the promissory note? No promissory note, no loan. And now you're going to tell me that courts are set up to enforce criminality. The courts are going to allow a drug dealer to come into court and to sue you for the $1,000 you owe them for a drug deal that didn't, or the quality wasn't there. Hey, judge, I buy from my supplier 100% cocaine and it's only 50%. He cut it with this and I want him to pay me. The courts are not set up for criminal actions. But if you're going to argue that point of view, that's fine. So when you have an agreement with the bank, it's forever. So I sell you my house, Dale, and I didn't tell you I own a house, so you're going to make payments to me every month. I didn't tell you I put toxic waste in the back, and you and your family move in and they're dying because of the poisons. You're going to tell me a judge is going to say, oh, no, Dale, you signed a contract, even though he didn't disclose that. You have to live there and you have to pay him all that money, even though he polluted your backyard. You're going to die if you stay there. It's the same thing. You're not obligated to this criminal. The banks are criminals. I'm trying to get this through to you, is that they are committed a crime of fraud and you don't owe them. You don't have a contractual agreement with the bank. What you have is a free checking account. So all you got to do is first withdraw your money. This is your money in your bank. You or your audience member might call it max out the card. No, you're not maxed out the card. It's your money. So you need to withdraw your money from your checking account first before you send a letter. So I help people in that stages that they're just all of a sudden woken up and they want their gift and in cash, which is fine. To the other side of where they've been sued by a bank, I can help people who have now got a judgment against you. And now I can actually help people who've got a judgment against them and are making payments. They're in that position of making payments, or with other kinds of debt too, that they are making payments to. I can find them gifts. So
that's simple. I'm not being sued or anything. And in fact, as an attorney told me, I can't be sued for things like this. I'm bulletproof is the way he phrased it. Because of my age, my physical condition, and my disabilities, I'm bulletproof.
Right, you're judgment proof, but they can still harass you, they can bother you and stuff like that, and they can mess your.
I got a shredder
they can mess up your credit.
I got a shredder
They can mess up your. Well, yeah. Well, they can mess up your credit report. So if you have to go to another location, they pull your credit report and they see if you're not good, making good payments. So people's jobs depend on this credit report. People getting an apartment, they look at your credit report. So this can be very important. So what I'm saying is that you can do this in 45 days. You can have this resolved and you are a victim and not be a victim anymore. And then turn right around and apply for a credit card and receive your free credit card. But this one, I'm trying to educate you. Get the ones that don't have an annual fee. And you have to know that the scam is going on, but you need the card to get your credit score up. So when I got off the farm a few years ago when I was going to come to the Philippines, I had 0 credit score. But when Capital One gave me that credit card, it boosted my score to 525. I went to a credit union and got a small loan. It's an installment loan. So I had to sign a promissory note for that. So I had no collateral, but a promise to pay. And then so I got my score to 625. And now I use 10% of my credit card every month. And now I've got a score of over 700. And pretty soon I want to get it back up to 800 to prove to you that it works.
Well, I believe you. My mind is at my age, and as you understand, it sometimes goes a little. But I'm getting to understand.
Yeah.
It's free money.
Yeah. And so I wrote a book called Forgive and Forget How to Nuke Your Credit Card Debt. And it's not you asking forgiveness from the bank. No, it's the bank asking you to forgive. And that's the first thing we do. The first act of forgiving is the first act of giving. So we do forgive the bank for their treacherous ways. And so we're good Christians. But on the other side, we can forget about it and we can nuke this alleged credit card debt.
Okay. What I do, I'll tell you, I usually say it at the end, but people, guests who spend time with me, I put at the top, right over the top of them, the email address, web page address, or in your case, your book. Which you've got a lot of them here. So which?
Well, you can find me, Tommy. It's Forgive and Forget How to Nuke Your Credit Card Debt is the book. And I offer a free 50-minute consultation. And you can find me on Tommy A. Kilpatrick on Facebook or with my email. It'll be in your show notes. Yeah. And then I will give you my $69 book for free. So free consultation, you have some laughs, have some fun. Yep. And I usually find money. So that's my usual mode of operandi is I talked to a podcaster last week and I found him $20,000 he didn't know he even had. That's pretty nice.
That'd be nice. Finds me 20. I could live in a better place than I'm living. When I move, even I'm growing my rent when I move, but not enough.
It's never enough. I know. It's a tough place.
Even though I
But
say
there's a
I'm
solution.
75 and retired, but I hate being retired. I
Oh
want to
yeah.
get this podcast built up to where I'm making money on the deal. That's my
It's
goal.
the thing to do. Yep, it's the thing to do now.
So the idea is a lot of people making a lot of money off podcasts, but they're the people like Sean
Yeah.
Hannity and those type of people that they are well known. But I just noticed that here recently, I've been noticing my readership is going up every week. Goes up.
Mhm. Yep, they get exposed. I think of this one kid who didn't even graduate high school, and he must have had a very good phone, let's say, and he had a rich family that sent him to pick some place, let's say Israel, and he lands in Israel and he uses his phone to interview people. That kid is making $1 million a month.
Yeah,
He's traveling the whole world now, first class.
of
He's
course.
never taken a class of journalism. He never went to college to be a journalist. He never finished high school. And he's making $1 million off of YouTube. He's interviewing people. He's a personal person. So
Yeah.
we are in a new revolution that is totally, you're thinking 1750. If you think you got to go get a job, and then if you get a job, you should be a manager. So go to college and get a degree so you can manage other people. That is old thinking. It's not late. It's not correct anymore. You got to
Yeah,
be on this platform to try to make anything of it.
yeah. I've got 3 semesters of college, a GED. That's it. Good high school. But I got 3 semesters of college. But that's it. It's good grades, but it doesn't matter. Uh, and that, so I would say spot that guy's it. But he's making the million I ain't yet.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you think of all the kids today that are told to go to college, which is a dead end, which if they had spent it on maybe being a mechanic, and now AI is going to eliminate all these programmer jobs. It's going to eliminate all the people. There's 1 million people employed here in the Philippines in these call centers. So the
Yeah,
call centers, because of the internet and the free phone call through the internet,
right.
these American companies could come here to the Philippines, hire people who were brought up with English, so they speak well enough English, and now they do that. And so they took all those jobs away from Americans.
Yep.
Trump has said that he could bring them back. These jobs are not coming back. These jobs will be eliminated by the next round of AI because
Right.
it's going to hear me. That AI is going to hear my first 3 syllables. It's going
Right.
to know where I'm from, my language, my dialect, things that's going to relate to me. It's going to talk like a person. I won't even know it's a computer. And it's going to sell me on it, take my credit card, get all the information. I'm thrilled by not going, what the hell are you saying? I can't understand the word you're saying from India or from the Philippines.
No.
So all those millions of jobs are going to be gone, and that's what they predict. So if you're a mechanic, AI is not going to replace your fuel injector. I was going to say carburetor.
You've almost, yeah, that just tells you how old job. Carburetor said fuel injector. Yeah, I use AI. I'm not going to deny it. I use it quite a bit on show notes and a lot of. I also, among all my other things, is I design logos for people,
Mm-hmm.
and I use AI to do it. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
oh yeah. So, but I write commercials for people, and I use AI to help me with the commercials. That's 2 things
Oh
I
yeah.
do, other than podcasting.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's something. Go to AI and lay out my whole thing and see what it says. It's going to tell you I'm completely a crackpot. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
work, and you're going to get sued. So you
No,
got
because I
to understand who wrote it. Because I am the same age as Bill Gates. When he was writing programs and I was writing programs, we were in a total different world. I had punch cards, and he was working on a mainframe computer with the power company of Washington State. So he had instant recovery, instant response from his typing, and I took a week to find out what. So I had no interest in computers when I was growing up. It's that same thing: is that garbage in, garbage out. So
still in.
someone is programming these answers. So here's the thing: just you see this sometimes in the feeds. You ask AI about whiteness: is white power or whiteness very good? And I just did this 2 days ago. I'd seen it and said, well, let me try this with DeepSeek. Is it okay for a white person to have white pride? Oh no. It went into the whole thing, how awful it was. And then I said, well, how about blackness? Oh yes, it's fantastic. And it goes on and on for pages. Then I'm going to go back and do a clip of what DeepSeek said. All of a sudden, all that stuff was gone. It
Yeah.
said, well, you're asking something I really shouldn't answer. And it's like, but you answered it. It was there and it was all gone. So there's a whole agenda. So, and yeah,
What was I trying to do?
what can you say?
I tried to get four triangles, 8 triangles coming together to form a full moon. And AI told me, one Microsoft, can't think of it, the name of it right now, not Go GBG chat, but one of the other ones, Go something.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it says, we cannot do that. I'm not allowed to do that. I mean, I asked her, what do you mean you're not allowed to draw 8 triangles and put it together as a globe? Only turn the globe into a full moon. She said, well, I'm not allowed to do that. Can't even talk about it.
Oh yeah.
But I found a way around it.
Yeah.
We're already very close to out of time here, Tommy. We got about 15 minutes,
Yeah.
about 12 minutes left.
Well, we can
What is the
talk
one
about
thing?
fishing.
what is the one thing you want to tell you? What you want the audience to know?
Actually, two things. One is your mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open.
Mhm.
And is it possible you, your audience, and me too, have we been lied to, indoctrinated, and brainwashed? Is it possible? You got to say yes. So
Yeah.
a lie is a lie, and we can tell what a lie is. But when it's told generationally, then it's indoctrination. And if we don't question it, then we have been brainwashed. So all I want you to do is just question. You're not going to be brainwashed anymore. Now we can filter through and see what the lie is. And you don't have to remain a victim. You can be free of this being a victim of a crime. And if more and more people would do this, the banks would not be making a fourth of their profit. That's what I have calculated from this crime they're committing. About 1/4 their profits come from these bank issued alleged credit cards. Yeah. And then you're going to say, well, Tom, if you do that, you're going to bring the whole system down. I'm not bringing the whole system down. A true credit card is a true credit card, a true merchant you've got to pay. So you pay those merchants that provided a service or sold you goods, you pay that. You have to pay that. And then if there's a true loan, I know about the thing, but it's a loan. They have the collateral, so they're going to take it away from you. So, but there are gifts that the bank can give you to then pay off these loans. It's possible. You didn't say it was immoral. So if the bank wants to give you a gift, I can help you.
Yes. Okay. Here's the thing. The one thing that I can do to help you, I think, is there's a company out there called WeTransfer, and it transfers large files. They charge for it. I don't remember how, not very much. Or you get one for so much gigabyte free, and then so much after that you got to pay for it. But I will send you an edited copy of this when I get it edited to WeTransfer. Then it's yours. Do with it what you want.
Fantastic.
Okay. Are you willing to do that?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Okay. Let me write it down. Now, if something comes up that you think is important, contact me and I'll put you back on.
Okay. Yes. I have
That's my other gift.
Either some latest events that would happen. I've also have written a book on how to speak a language in less than 30 days, which I have done. So I'm getting the artwork done right now. So it's be published here in about another month. So I can come back on how to speak a language like Hiligaynon is one I've learned here in the Philippines. There's also Cebuano and then Tagalog.
Yeah, okay.
And I'll work for any language. So yep, that'll come back.
Yeah, I'll let you. I have no problem with inviting people if they got something new to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I'm important. It's important to me to get news, get this type of information out, not just your information, which is critical in my opinion. but other people's types of information too. That's what I do.
Oh, yeah. And basically the best client, for my consulting would be a company that is looking to be going out of business. They've got debt and they can't handle it all. Their board of directors have maxed out all their cards and their employees are suffering. So what I want to do is talk to their CFO, which is most likely a CPA, and talk about what it really is. There is no invoice and there is no loan. And then talk to the vice president, who's probably an attorney that fraud and does all contracts. So I'd like to have them hold a meeting and invite all the employees saying, look, we are victims of a fraud. We're going to be writing a letter to the bank. It's going to be coming from our attorney. The CPA, our CFO, is going to write a letter saying that there is no invoice, there is no loan. And so we, in 45 days, expect this to be off our credit report. Do you employees want to join in? If you want to, go ahead, but we're all going to not get out of debt. We're going to stop being a victim. And so that would be the fantastic thing that would happen. In 45 days, the company does not have any more bank issued alleged corporate credit card debt. And all the board of directors have clean credit reports, their credit scores go up, and so do the employees.
Yeah. That sounds like a great game plan. We need to talk, wish we'd have talked a little more about that, but we got a couple of minutes, but we need to go. So
okay.
I thank you, Tommy, for showing me how to get out.
Thank you.
How to stop being a victim. I find that important, and I believe you. And it's going to be a few days. I'm in the process of moving. It's going to take a while before I get to edited and published. And you send when you you'll get an email from We Transfer to your email. You just download it, and it's yours. Do with it what you want.
Fantastic. I appreciate it very much, Dale. You're doing a great service for me and for all the people out there. So keep up the good work.
You bet I intend to. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Get some sleep.
Will do. I'm going to bed soon.
Thank you for listening to the show. There are show notes and a place to comment at https://coffee-time-again.libsyn.com/website. He hopes that you liked what you heard and will tell others about him. Dale is attempting to get a following that both disagrees and agrees with him. He does not want yes men. If you disagree, wonderful. He is happy to have you here as a part of the Coffee Time Again team. Dale does not talk about the news of the day. He is attempting to give a history lesson that is just as important about what is going on in the headlines of today. Please do not hesitate to contact him. Just remember that Dale wants a clean show, meaning no cussing, name calling, yelling, or hate allowed. You can disagree with him and not be disagreeable about it. Support him and help keep this alive. https://glow.fm/coffee-time-again.